Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to finish this small little magic find project. So this is video number 3. Well, the first one was basically just explaining what we are about to do. The second one was the build guide of the character that I'm using. And now the third one is we're done running the maps. Let's see what we found. Is magic find still good? What did I accomplish? And so on. So first of all, if this is the first video out of the 3 that you're watching, and you probably will not even watch the others unless you're interested in the build guide, just a small heads up here. This project was running 144 Crimson Temple maps with some scarabs and some sextants, but the main focus was not farming divination cards. The main focus for me was doing challenges while being in an area that can drop big stuff with using a character that also has some quantity attached. So I was doing like challenges, you know, I'll need like find Chayula, for example. I did use my Eldritch altar, so I got those 2 done. So now I'm currently farming the what is it, the Eater of Worlds, right? So my main focus is to farm challenges alongside maybe getting some good stuff. So this project took basically 2 days. Yesterday I did the first 80 maps, I think, and today I finished it off with the last like 64 maps or something, right? So 144 maps, an entire tab, and this is where we are left. So this is my 2 quad tabs just full of loot with like cluster jewels and gems and 6 links and I don't know. This is not calculated in the project, okay? This will maybe sell tomorrow, maybe when it's down to 30 chaos, but this is not calculated in, so this is something you have to like put on top if you want to. But I put some things away that I wanted to calculate in, for example, the recombinators, my whatever, and the stuff that I found, right? Good. So the big question is, there is 4 divination cards that are worth farming in this, or that you potentially can get while doing your challenges, if you want to call it like that. There is the Apothecary, which is the Mage Blood card going for like over 30x, right? And then you have the Enlighten card, then you have the Empower card, as well as the 7 Years Bad Luck, which is the Mirror Shard one, right? And we got a total of 3 7 Years Bad Luck, we got 3 Enlighten cards, and we got 2 Empower cards. Sadly, we did not get any of the Apothecary, no Mage Blood card, but overall still, I think we made quite some currency. Well, let's talk about currency actually. For those people that are just here to see the end results, there you go. We made about 50 exalts profit in a matter of 2 days. So with our early investment of like round about 13 chaos per map, with like the map plus the 4 scarabs, the sextant, the alchemy orb, as well as chiseling them, which cost every map was like 13 chaos, and I did end up having like 63 chaos per map profit out of this entire project. So since the people that are now gone that just interested on how much I got, let's break down what did I actually find. So when you take a look at the currency tab, I did actually remove a bunch of the stuff that nobody cares. Yeah, no wait, this is my personal. This is the project tab, right? So I just removed all the wisdom scrolls and shards that nobody cares about, but this is basically what we got. We got a shit ton of unmaking orbs, to be honest, as well as like a shit ton of like regrade scourings, sextants we could perma sustain actually. Think about, I used 144 sextants minimum because sometimes I rolled over a mod that I cannot run, or at least like that is useless for me. For example, if I get the Nico sextant, right? This doesn't add any monsters to my map. My sulfite cap is already full, so I just overroll that, right? But we still could get back up 150 of those, right? Hundreds of fusings, jewelers, ancient orbs, like you say it, we got it pretty much, right? When it comes to the exotic part, this is what the Eldritch altars and so on give me, right? And I want to mention this. I probably run round about half of the map, or at more than half of the map, I was running the Searing X arc until I got my challenge here done, those 2, and once this was done, I was switching over to the Eldritch dude, right? The thing is like, or the Eater of Worlds, basically. As I said, the thing is not like, what is better? Is left side better or is right side better? The only thing that counted for me is I need to do challenges on left side, I need to do challenges on right side, so once I'm done with those, then I'm just gonna farm those. I don't care which altars are worse, or, you know, like, screw that, you know? In the end of the day, the chance to drop a Mage Blood card is 50-50. You kill a monster, it either drops it or it doesn't, you know? So that's how I think about the game, right? I don't care what strongbox notes I had or something like that, whatever. If I drop one, I get one. If GGG says, fuck you, MBX, then yeah, I got none, as you saw, basically, right? But that's why we got different results on these like Eldritch kind of like currency. Good. Next points, fragments. This is actually quite a lot with like over 2000 chaos. And the reason for that is the reason why I said I want to farm tier 16 instead of tier 11. It's about these boys over here. So these are the invitations to the Searing Exarch as well as the Eater of Worlds, right? And since I started with Searing Exarch, as you see, they are going for like 1.3 exalts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, which is basically like 6 exalts extra profit just because I was running the maps, you know. And then the other one, I think this is the Screaming, Writhing. I don't know which one is the bigger. No, so this is the small one, right? But the Eater of Worlds also goes for 1.2. So we basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So this is basically 8 or 9 exalts just profit because I was able to run tier 60 map instead of a tier 11 map because of the altars that we spawned, right? And this is why this strategy is quite fine. Here on top of that, some invitations, nothing too crazy. All the scarabs that we found, all the breach stones, as well as like the other fragments that we got sometimes from a legion and stuff like that. I did get quite some breach stone splinters just because I'm currently trying to farm the Chayula one, so that's why I have allocated some breach nodes on my Atlas tree. Good. Next is the essences, nothing to talk about, 200 chaos, so basically just, yeah, a bunch of like whatever essences, right? When it comes to divination cards, we are quite nice with a 1.5k, that's like over 10 exalts basically worth of divination cards, around about 9 to 10 exalts. And this is also not only because of the cards that we found, but also like of the, since I'm running the strongbox node, sometimes the div cards get doubled, and in one chest I had like a double abundant wealth, which is like 1 point something x since we have 2, right? And there's other cards that we got alongside the way. But all these like currency cards, like cards that got me alteration or regrets or something like that, I turned those in and they are already in my currency tab, basically, right? Then fossils, nothing. Oils, nothing. Like this is like when I get the mirror, the mirror of Delirium, and it chooses to be Blight, something like that. That's why I got it, because Blight is blocked on my tree, because I hate Blight, I hate Cassia, so I don't want to deal with that shit. And now we have the option to just block her entirely, right? So this little bit of oils and stuff is just what I got from like Delirium and stuff like that. Good. Next one. How much maps did we sustain? This is like an interesting thing, because if you remember, I'm using my Crimson Temple, and I also used Sextants as well as the, what is it, Cartography Scarab, the rusted one, right? That's why we don't have any of those right now. So, Sextants, quality on the maps, I'll can go with a rusted cartographer, with a strategy that I have 12 times my favorite map on Crimson Temple, as well as having in my Atlas passive tree all 4 extra additional map supply, as well as using the singular focus, which says maps that you drop can only be favorite maps. All other will turn into currency, right? So this is basically what I was aiming for. And as I said, I ran 144 maps, and I got a total of, what is it, Magic Find Project. This is what I got back. I think it was like 198 back or so. So we basically got a 50 maps extra while running 150 maps. Is this good or bad? In my opinion, that's actually terrible. So why is this terrible? Because if I just want to go with a super lazy strategy, when I say, yo, you know what, I don't want to buy scarabs, I don't want to chisel my maps, I'm a lazy fuck, I just want to Alk and go, I only sustain 50 above what I ran with Sextants and with scarabs. And that makes me just wonder, like, I don't think you will ever be able to sustain your maps if you don't do it this way, right? And that's why it's kind of sad. But in the end of the day, we got another 200 maps that I could run after this project, which is pretty much fine, right? The other maps, they're basically whatever I got into any, like, tier 16 random from any encounters. Like, this is like, as I said, all the maps that you drop will get turned into currency, right? So these maps that drop, they are basically from Delirium, from, I don't know, anything that is not a natural sustained map drop, basically. Then we have Delirium, 180 chaos, which is shocking. For me, this is actually shocking, because I also have a simulacrum and a bunch of, like, Delirium orbs. And the simulacrum is going for 50 chaos, 57 chaos. Like, if you just make a character that can run, dude, with 50 chaos per simulacrum, you probably have to run until wave 15, and you'll make profit. That's how I see it. And every simulacrum of 30 waves, you know? So if you're really hurting for currency, just buy simulacrums, run them. They are always profitable, and they were already super profitable when the simulacrum was 1x a piece. Now they're 50 chaos because nobody wants to run them. But you know, if you need currency, just get yourself into simulacrums. Don't worry about anything. You just bulk up everything and you make shit tons of profit. I remember when I did my 60 simulacrums, there was another league though, where I don't want to say how much profit I made, but it was a lot, okay? But it's just shocking to see that simulacrum is down to 50 chaos. So maybe we're going to do a simulacrum project. Metamorph map prep tab. The map prep tab is basically whatever I have over here, the small little shit, right? And yeah, this is basically 52x. And now the next important question, are there any big drops? Since you said you didn't drop any MageBot card, how the fuck did you get to 52x? So, let's take a look at the sales. I found an Aegis Aurora that sold for, I think it was 6.5 exalts, which is pretty nice. I actually found, let me check real quick on my counter. Let me put up the info box here. I can barely see because the monitors are so far away. I think, yeah, I dropped 6 exalts or something. 5 or 6 exalts were flat that I found, so this is on top of that. We got a double crit multi-life jewel that sold for 1 exalt on the first day. Now exalt is like a little bit higher, but doesn't matter. A 2120 minion life gem, a far dot multi-jewel for like 50 chaos cells and 90 chaos. We found a brass stone, we found an empower gem. And the Crimson Temple Conqueror map is basically, since I can only drop Conqueror maps, the problem is all the other Conqueror maps that are not on Crimson Temple are turned into currency. So I'm actually really heavily wondering if this singular focus is not actually the biggest bait ever, because, okay, you only drop Crimson Temple map. That's totally fine. That's what we want, right? We want to sustain our Crimson Temple map. But don't forget, everything that is not a Crimson Temple map will get deleted or basically turned into currency. So that not only counts for every other map, but it counts for Guardian maps. What if you drop I don't know, a Conqueror map that is not Crimson Temple? It's gone, you know? And some of those are like 30, 40 chaos for some, depending on the map layout and stuff, right? So what about synthesized maps? What if you would drop a Cortex? You will never see a Cortex because it's not a Crimson Temple map. All the unique maps get converted into currency. There's only everything that is a map gets turned into currency if it's not a Crimson Temple. So I don't want to say that I dropped the Cortex, maybe, but I also know if you don't have any of the stuff that is synthesized related allocated, you know, you maybe find one Cortex every 500 maps. The chance that Kirak actually sells you a Cortex is probably a lot higher, right? And he sells me a Guardian map. That's pretty cool. I'll take that. So I'm just saying, you know, like, potentially, if you would drop a Guardian, it's gone, you know? Or if you drop a Cortex or something, they are just gone because they don't exist for you, right? And that's why I also think, just for the Conqueror and Guardian maps and Elder Guardians and Shaper Guardians and all these kind of Guardians, I kind of think that this one is a little bit of a bait. But you can test this up yourself. Let's take a look at my Atlas tree. As I said from the beginning in part 1, my Atlas tree is not based around magic finding. It's not based around finding divination cards. It is based around quality of life, currency sustain with like strong boxes and challenges, right? So that's why I have the Searing Exarch allocated, just because I farm challenges, right? Why do I have Breach? Not because Breach is so good. I want to have the challenge, right? And this is so, don't focus too much around how did your Atlas tree look like. If you want to make the maximum profit out of these maps, you definitely going to find better ways to apply your Atlas to a certain strategy like Crimson Temple, right? But all I care about is challenges, and I take everything that I find on the way to it. Good. I would say pretty successful, 50x in about, I would say 8 hours total play time, with yesterday like 6 hours and today like 2 or 3 hours. So I would say 50x in 2 days without a MageBot card is actually quite ridiculous. If we would have gotten one, we would be up at like 80x profit or so in like 2 days. So I would say if you are wondering, shit dude, what build should I play, what strategy should I play, you know, get a Magic Finder, super easy and cheap to do, very simple to play. And while you're watching anything else would like maybe interest you, maybe you're saving up for a build or something, make a cheap Magic Finder, farm some Crimson Temple, doesn't hurt, it's super easy, and it will give you currency. I just made a 50x, you know, and there is still stuff from my quad tabs to sell, so big heads up, I think definitely worth, and I will probably just continue farming that route, not in the terms of a project, but just I know how good it is now and how lazy it is, so as long as I'm thinking about a new build, maybe I'm waiting for something special to pop up on the market, I'm just gonna run those maps and just profit just passively out of it. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.